All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
The Mandalorian, Season 1, Episode 8, the finale.
This is the finale.
And oh boy, the last episode was a doozy.
The last episode has us set up with a showdown. And we are out of reinforcements, or are we?
Well, yeah.
We could be getting reinforcements.
Tactical IG!
Yeah. That would be fantastic.
That would be wonderful.
But this droid has been programmed for
defense only.
Defense only. Yes.
Right.
So I'm curious to see what that actually translates to.
The comms out there. His master's dead by the outside the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is bad. We have Moff Gideon, played by Giancarlo Esposito. We have a legion of my best troops await them. I'm afraid
your pitiful friends, yeah.
I'm afraid your guild friends will be quite helpless when my troops arrive. I did switch the parties involved in their orientation in that sentence, but it all works perfectly.
Yep.
He also has like death troopers, or like straight up like Rogue One. I think they're death troopers.
And they look badass and awesome, and oh my god, I never knew I wanted stormtroopers to kill stormtroopers so badly until now.
So yeah. And then how are they going to wrap things up in a way that leads into a second season naturally without us feeling like we were, blocked by
one of the issues here is that as soon as the scout troopers come back with the baby, Moff Gideon will just leave in the TIE fighter, leave the troops behind to kill them, but he'll just leave. He has the kid now, and then, he's off to his personal Star Destroyer or whatever, right? Or whatever, however he gets around. I'm guessing he doesn't just get around in that TIE fighter, right? He has a supply ship.
Right, but we literally went into the discussion last episode about why him having a Star Destroyer
is probably not a thing.
Right, because it would draw all of the New Republic there. Because there's a Star Destroyer on the Outer Rim!
Yeah, right.
An Imperial Lambda shuttle with, maybe some support ships or what have you isn't going to draw as much attention.
Right, like the Empire did have ships that were in between shuttles and Star Destroyers, so,
the EU went into that more than
maybe it's like a Victory class Star Destroyer, like some old piece of crap, tiny,
those ones are just... No. But, finale, y'all.
Oh, boy.
Episode 8. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, everyone, be sure to check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, and then come back here for the discussion. This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way. This is that sweet, buttery way.
Oh, this so...
We got so much
so good.
Stuff.
So good.
So much in
this. Man, and like to think. Yes, the season is over, and now we have to endure hiatus land and everything.
And we do know when the next season is coming out. It comes out fall 2020. So
cool.
It's going to be a while.
All right, but not
a year.
Not too long. Not too long. Yeah.
9 months.
But oh man.
10 months.
This This is everything I could have hoped for from like a Mandalorian TV show. This is so wonderful.
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement. Like this is the best way to do it.
Yep.
In terms of where we're at in the current mythos of Star Wars.
Right.
I would say products that have been launched, in a weird way to say it, because I don't want to just say movies and I don't want to just say media. I want to say like everything Star Wars wise. This is the best way they could do it to start off a launch that brings the Mandalorians into the forefront.
Yep.
Short of going, in a TV show format, short of going the full Old Republic Mandalorian Wars route.
Yep.
Which they were teasing. Because y'all, here's the thing. If you've watched our reaction to Mandalorian, y'all know we're huge fans of the EU in a lot of specific areas there. And one of the things that Dave Filoni is a big fan of also is a lot of specific things regarding the EU.
Yes.
So getting Mandalore the Great name dropped, specifically the one that was responsible for a lot of specific things that happened in the Mandalorian Wars back. Way back when.
But oh boy, like this is and the thing is, I don't actually remember the title Mandalore the Great. I remember like the Indomitable, the Ultimate, the Preserver, things like that. So
maybe I'm thinking Mandalore the Ultimate, but the Mandalore the Great, they
could easily do a substitute of Mandalore the Ultimate, Mandalore the Great, right? They could easily do that because they did uncanonize things. But one of the other things that does that I think is really cool here is that this is basically in a lot of ways one of the best of both worlds, because we can still have Legends and EU and all that stuff, right? But they can also basically reintroduce new stuff that is holding to the heart of the EU.
Yeah, it's Mandalore the Ultimate we're thinking of. And, And Mandalore the Great is obviously a reference or like a pseudonym for essentially who will be the character of Mandalore the Ultimate.
Right, or Disney's equivalent.
It's the one
probably.
that Redmond killed, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
But oh man.
When the Tong were a thing, So like, that whole thing. So anyway, EU stuff aside, this episode,
yep.
We got okay. So we got the IG-11 droid saving our baby boy
after amazing comedy between the two scout troopers.
Let's actually slow down a little bit and just acknowledge that you guys might not remember this. But one of the best Star Wars parodies to ever exist was a little short film called Troops.
Yep.
And the thing about Troops was that it was really campy and silly. It wasn't like insanely popular, but within the Star Wars community,
cream
if
of
you
the
were around
crop,
back
so
then,
good.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was delightful.
Yeah.
This felt like straight out of Troops.
Yeah.
You just get the stormtroopers dealing with, there's some bigwig out there. Oh, he's got to
killed someone because interrupted him. Yeah,
he had to make a point. Yeah, we'll just wait here. Well, I mean, their operator was saying it's too hot right now. Wait to go in.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So that's hilarious.
Right.
But also the idea that because of typical Imperial kind of just stuff.
Yeah.
You get a situation where the scout troopers are like, they're not bumbling idiots, but they are some bumble,
they can't shoot worth a damn. Like they're. Oh man. Oh, that was just like, that was almost laying it on too thick. Like that was just so good. And granted, they're these dinky little blasters, right? So it would make sense that they're not super accurate, but like.
Right. I mean, they're not going to be hitting anything going on the swoop bikes anyways with those, because they're going to be using the swoop bike's actual gun.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's how they actually managed to kill Quill, because if they didn't have that, I'd be like, how did they actually manage to hit him?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a +5 to his to his defense because of his small size modifier. Difference thing there.
Well, I mean, they can't even hit an inanimate object that's 5 feet away.
I mean, that was a pretty small inanimate object.
Oh, to be fair.
I mean, if you had a gun and you were trying to hit basically like a golf ball that was 10 feet away, you'd probably fire like 6 or 7 shots.
I don't think I'd miss by that much, though.
No, I think you would, because of the recoil. It'd actually be harder. So if anything, the blaster would actually be easier. Because
if you're like spamming off shots, but. Oh man, that whole scene was just so wonderful. I loved it. It was comedy to cut the tension of everything else.
Yep.
And then it also was a good means of why, because of Imperial bureaucracy and all the stuff happening, why the IG unit was able to actually catch up without flying over on the ship.
Right.
Which was fantastic.
Which is great, because we were thinking about the IG unit as being something that would be really important in the next episode. Because it was just being set up that way.
Right.
It made sense thematically and it made sense in the plot. But we were like, that's a long ways away. And he has no transport. What, is he going to fly over on the ship? Like, that was literally like, well, no, he's not. If anything, no. Because there's multiple things going on here. We have the bad guy doing the, I will now leave and, I will come back in a little bit. Who is he going? Where was he going? Did he have some pressing matters to attend to? Was he just going? Like, this is my thought. Is Gideon basically like, Yes, I'm gonna wait until sunset. Goes up, climbs up into his TIE fighter, keeps tripping on his cape, trying to climb up. His death troopers like give him a boost, like up into there. He climbs back in there and he just sits in the cockpit and just scowls. Is he like checking in with someone? No, he's a Moff. So he's literally probably just sitting in his TIE fighter, just growling intensely. Right. And then
your overconfidence is your weakness. It's one of those things where it's a little bit like
campy. It's fun.
It's campy. Well, he's literally camping outside, and you can't get away, right?
Right.
But
okay.
Works.
So the IG-11 droid comes in there.
That sequence on the swoop,
just that was wonderful. It was amazing, and leading it up to be the redemption.
Yep.
Being not really the IG droid. The IG droid in a lot of ways was reprogrammed, but that's in some ways not really a redemption. In some ways, it's actually all the Mandalorian.
Oh,
I was gonna say it's actually we now know his name, Din Djarin. Din Djarin is his name, which okay. It's not only that; it's his redeeming of the child. And his redemption in a lot of ways towards droids. His redemption in a lot of ways towards the way that he regarded his past. So now he's able to then, he redeems the clan signet.
Right. His new clan.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I mean, we were told that it was going to be the Mudhorn, but that was like back in like episode whatever, two or three. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But now he's free.
Yep.
He's free. He no longer has that burden of his past necessarily. I mean, he might. I would say it would actually in some ways be nice to have him kind of be like, I still don't like droids. Like I can work with them, but I don't.
It takes a long time to get over past childhood trauma.
That's definitely a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But we saw his backstory in full detail.
Yep.
All the way to him basically becoming a foundling. Mm-hmm. Not like the specific rituals or anything, but like actually being covered and taken up by a Mandalorian clan.
And probably that exact same clan. So all those people that saved him, he then finds out a lot of them died.
Yeah.
A lot of them died.
I kind of expect though that clan is not actually related to at all the group on Navarro.
Or at least it's like or maybe it's something where it's like previous generation, because that was 20, 30 years ago or something.
It was a long time ago. They were all wearing the same color coordinated armor, which was usually a thing specifically in the old Mandalorian days for like we're all of the same clan, so we all have something that matches each other.
Right, Neo Crusaders versus Crusaders.
Yeah, exactly. So with where he's at right now, they could do that where it would be you're of clan such and such. That's my father's clan or my mother's clan or what have you. Mm-hmm. Because whoever came into, protecting him according to what they said here would have been his parent. Yep. So we now actually have set up within the lore of this story a way for him to have a family reunion.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. That feels so wonderful.
Oh man, like I absolutely love everything about this episode. Like there's
I'm with you.
Like maybe the whole thing of Gideon, waiting,
whatever,
possibly. But even then, if not, then that's characterization for him. And they did a really good job of setting up that yes, they were screwed. Absolutely screwed. They were absolutely screwed.
A reprogrammed IG-11 riding a swoop by dual wielding
blasters and stuff.
Not Eweb, but E11 blaster
That's
rifles.
Not exactly.
That's not
part of the equation.
Yeah, that shouldn't be something you'd have to predict.
Right, and
you don't Joseph Joestar like your next line will be, but you forgot about my IG-11 droid.
Right,
I forgot about your IG-11 droid.
What? Yeah, and that is why villains and in a lot of ways D&D adventurers. Should and can get trust issues and paranoia where they're like, hold on, you can never be too sure.
Right. In the same breath, you can have your big bad, careen out over the horizon to a smoky, crushing, not explosion demise.
Right.
But wait, freaking Moff Gideon, the ISB agent that apparently was involved in the siege of Mandalore.
Yeah.
By the Empire. Reclaimed the Dark Saber.
Yep.
So for those of you that don't know what the Dark Saber is, it was a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
It was a weapon that was used to kill Jedi. It was an offshoot of the Jedi lightsaber, so it doesn't work as well. It's a little bit old school.
Right. It was basically a relic that's old even by Jedi standards.
Yes.
And it was something that was taken off of either a Sith or a Jedi. I can't remember.
I believe it might have been a Sith, but the thing is that the actual use of it that it's primarily known for is actually killing Jedi in the Mandalorian Wars, according to the new Disney canon.
Oh, cool.
Because that was pre-Vizsla in the Clone Wars who used it.
When he fought Maul.
Well, when there was when he fought Maul, but when there was also a lot of infighting within the Mandalorian whole thing there, because they had basically Death Watch, which was their we adhere to the old ways in an extreme manner, and then there was Mandalore that was trying to figure out its way in the Galactic Republic and be like members of the overall Galactic
be non-combatant
society.
Yeah.
Well, right, but they really didn't have too much of a choice because of there being a galactic war where we're one planet and we have these amazing fighters and thus
but
it passed hands quite a bit too from Clone Wars into Rebels as well. There's a lot of things in Rebels you haven't seen specifically with that, but I'll just tell you the Dark Saber makes its way around quite a bit.
And now it's made its way into live action.
Oh boy. Dave Filoni, you absolute mad lad.
Yep.
I applaud you.
Yeah. Can we just for making all these EU things into the Star Wars canon. We are not
unworthy.
Yeah.
And hey, thank you so much to everyone else that worked on this project. We shout out Dave Filoni quite a bit specifically for these things. We know there are tons of other people involved.
Just the level of polish on this episode is absolutely insane. Like the
it's
number.
A testament to that.
Yeah, it is an absolute testament to that. One of the things that I've really appreciated about this show is that the episodes aren't a set length. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. They are the length that they need to be.
To tell their story.
Right, to tell their story. Yep. Right? And in this situation,
streaming services online.
Right, exactly. Yes, thank you, Disney Plus. In this case, 48-minute episode. Mm-hmm. Now, traditionally, right, in normal television, if you have a 48-minute episode, you'd have 8 minutes of people walking through hallways, and you'd have all these other unbelievably unnecessary things. That's one of the reasons we love anime so much, right? Yeah. Here, everything needed to be there. Yep. It was
probably edited down.
Oh yeah,
from a lot of extra footage that they had there.
Yep. Because
no, it definitely was, but I mean probably a lot more.
Yep. Oh man, and because the thing is that having the quiet moments, having the lingering moments, right? That is something that is very important, right? Yep. And this show knows
quite a few of them.
And there were quite a few of them, and it knows how to do that, but it knows also when to do them and why to do them. Yes, and that's something that a lot of other shows don't do. And they just sort of throw them in there on things that the silence isn't being filled by anything, right? Yeah. Whereas whenever we see the armor smith, right, and she kneels down, it's like, whoa, let that sink in, and all that stuff, right? So I love this show.
I love this show so much. This is the best Star Wars thing to come out in the last 5 years.
I would potentially go further back than that.
I really think that there's some Clone Wars stuff out there that I don't want to immediately throw under the
of course
Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian is better than all of that.
And yet
I know what you mean. Here's the thing. The best live action thing that's been in Star Wars since Revenge of the Sith. like
Brook.
no, I know what you mean, but the thing is that we get all this extra content.
Oh yeah,
makes it easier to just say that.
Yep.
But the thing is that this work here, this work was the result of a lot of people that were really passionate about what they did and decided to all work together.
Yep.
Y'all, I can't stress that enough. Yeah. Please, out there, Star Wars people who work on this stuff, you're never going to watch our stuff. But, like, please continue to support the people that are willing to work together like this. Because there are a lot of things in Star Wars that we really, really like about, like, the new movies, for instance. Really, really like them. But this is better than all of them.
Oh, yeah.
This is better than all of them.
Buy those Baby Yodas so that Disney knows that this show, this is their golden goose.
Yes.
Like this is what they need to be focusing on.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Yeah.
Well, and just TV show format, this is the way in a lot of ways. Because with movies and a lot of the hiccups that they've had with the newer movies, it's because when you have 2 hours and you have something like Star Wars, it can be easy to get constrained, right? Yeah. Whereas with something like this, open skies, like, you know, whatever they want to do, they can do because,
it excites me to think about a lot of things specifically where you had this story about a boy who becomes a Mandalorian and is scared of droids, but ends up being forced into becoming a father despite being an orphan.
Right.
And it's like, okay, that's a very compelling stage for a story. Now, there's all these other things in here that aren't really that important to the story, you know, like the plot, essentially. You know, there's a lot of side characters, there's a lot of little locations, there's a lot of little lore drops and fan service and all these little bits in there. But at the core of it, you know, Star Wars has always been about family. And do you see what they did here? They made a Star Wars story about family that has nothing to do with Skywalkers, and in some ways,
or even in some ways not even the Force, like
not even the Force,
like it kind of does because Baby Yoda, right? But,
right, yeah.
But yeah, and here's another thing.
I just like how the family. Sorry, go ahead. I just want to say that the family dynamics in this were so strong in this end episode. That while like I wasn't like moved to tears or anything like that because like I still am getting to know all these characters,
the IG-11 and
Kara absolutely. I can see myself getting more moved in the future when this is on season 3 or 4 or what have you than a lot of things in the actual Star Wars like main movies like like it's going to happen because I'm going to get so invested in these characters as we go over the long run of things. I can't wait in some ways for Disney to get that Obi-Wan movie show because while it probably can't go on that long, just the idea of revisiting that kind of, you know, story with that character that I already am super invested in underneath the same kind of care of something like this. Makes me feel so good.
One of the things that I absolutely love about how they ended this year, because there was a part of me that was like, no, Kara, you know, go with him and all that stuff. Like we had the squad shots this episode. We had the squad shots,
and then we split the party back down to 2.
And then we split the party back down to 2. However, this is very important. This is very important. The world is expanded. And we know that these characters are out there, they're living their lives, and that they could come back into the show at a later point, right?
Yeah.
What this does, in a lot of ways, is it can help keep it from getting stale. Because the heart and soul of the show is going to be Din.
The boy and his father.
And Yoda, and Baby Yoda. Yeah, the boy and his father, right?
The father,
yeah. But by setting a goal of you need to find this child's planet, right? And return him to his people because he's physically not capable of being trained to be a Mandalorian, right? Totally makes sense. As far as impossible tasks go, that's
pretty high
up there, right?
Yeah.
However, what that means is this is basically something where we have a formula set up. And I know I used the word formula.
Oh, I know.
And you know how we hate those, right?
I literally was going to say this if you didn't.
But the thing is that it's specifically a formula that is based around the characters and the connections between them. And given the fact that the baseline is a crew of 2, a clan of 2, right? That means that we can have characters come into the story and then leave, go their separate ways, because they have their own lives, right? You don't have to worry about needing to set up the perfect group of 5 people with the, you know, the cocky, you know, flirty one, the sort of the parent of the group, the nerdy one, and then the
fun party one,
the fun party one, and you know, and the sexy one, you know, like you know,
you don't have to hit those tropes.
You don't have to hit those tropes because what they have as the core is good and can stand on its own, and then that means everything else is free game, and we can keep it fresh, we can keep things moving, and we can go wherever we want to go.
I am with you. I am with you for sure on this. I noticed that once they put in the goal of this is what you should do, I'm like, that's how they can have unlimited seasons if they want. But I would say that the fact that they have an actual antagonist now and someone who's literally like wielding the Mandalorian, you know, like ex-Mandalorian Dark Saber, you know, dripping with like, yes, I heard about him when I was a child, you know, like,
right,
absolutely. It's okay, that storyline has a very clear ending,
definitely,
and it can happen long before the ending if they wanted,
right?
But I still personally would like to have at least one person join the crew at some point in the future.
Totally.
Personally,
but
I would like
one of the other things though that they can do here is because of how they set this up, right? Yeah. The 2 people that have plot armor is the person with the indestructible armor and Baby Yoda, right?
Who has magical force
MacGuffin stuff, and
makes sense
and Disney product, you know, placement, right?
Also,
which can go on forever because
he's at like, you know, Disney theme parks. If Baby Yoda was killed.
Like he's an eternal mascot. They could go 20 seasons, and Baby Yoda's 20 years older.
Even worse,
he's gotten a little taller.
Jacob,
you know,
they could go full on like, well, I don't want to say which thing this is, but basically that specific thing. Spoilers. Where, you know, you've been caring for the kit for so long, and then they've all grown up, and you have to let them go on. And then you actually kind of, you know, offer them to keep going.
But that doesn't have to happen for 50 years.
You, the way this is. I'm just predicting the end line of the show right here. And that it's the little baby being able to speak finally. We find out why it hasn't been able to speak or something like that, and then or why it hasn't spoken, and then the way this is, you know. Except being like, the way this is.
Oh God. But the thing is, there are so many things they can do, and if they bring in new crew members, which they absolutely can do, one of the things that this also establishes is that since the core is a core of 2, the other crew members aren't safe. In the same way that they had, now granted, the crew members were brought, you know, for this story arc, were brought in, you know, the previous episode, right? And we still cared about them a lot, and they had been pre-established, but it's something where they can go back to 2 if they want to. They could have a crew member that's around for, say, 2-3 seasons, and something happens, right?
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, we got to see his face. We have his name, Din Djarin, and Pedro Pascal.
Yep.
Looking good, buddy. And way to do this. Like you're killing it, man. You're killing it. The whole thing that kind of felt like almost a little bit of, I'm sure everything was written long before the first episode aired. Streamed. Uploaded. The point I was meaning is that there's that part where he's like, I'm not sad. And he's like, I'm a nurse droid. I analyzed your voice. You have the big sad. You know? Like that part there was great, and I loved that scene. It felt like the creators were acknowledging the fans who were pointing back to previous scenes
in episode 4.
Where he's like not able to really
because you don't have
Yeah, exactly.
Facial emoting.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So all the things are like, you hear that emotion in his voice, like he totally
it's like
wants to stay.
You have to wait, like listen and like use your imagination. Like
we get all the IG-11s and analyze his voice.
That's right. Yeah.
We get what's going on.
I
completely forgot about 2 shots from the trailers.
I did too.
That they literally had in here, and one of them is a huge spoiler. Like a huge spoiler.
Which one?
It was the freaking grappling hook hitting the TIE fighter and him rappelling onto the top of it. That was freaking a trailer. And I completely forgot about it until like I actually saw it. And I was like,
wow.
Oh, right, that did happen.
That's right.
And then the other one is when he like walks out the door and just shoots the guy over his shoulder, hits the other one to the side. That was
I gotta say,
sexy.
I love all the attention to detail with the equipment because that is the closest thing to force powers that the Mandalorian has. Right. It's I need my gear. I got my armor. Okay, now I got my jetpack. I need my charges. I need my big guns. Right. Like okay. Also the part like so the fact that they had him restock and he's like I'm out of charges. Restock on your munitions. Awesome. And now he has charges to put on the TIE fighter.
Right. And because it was a thing where I'm sure there will be people who are like you, who, or unlike you, are like, wait, where did he get the charges from? Right. And didn't go, oh, it's the armory. Yeah. It's those little things where you then
those little attention to detail like that. Yeah. I love. And I gotta say, okay, so I'm going to go into a bit of like the, Star Wars tabletop stuff for a second here, but Ewebs.
Oh, right.
Ewebs. Always the like one of the most powerful, basically non-ship scale weapon like out there, pretty much, right? Like it's just agreed. He's nasty. You don't want to go up against one of those, right? And it was always portrayed very well and stuff, and the way they built it up in this episode was fantastic. Yeah. One of the things that we've seen in some other things like Clone Wars is people picking up repeaters, but never an Eweb. Never an Eweb. And like for reference, in the Fantasy Flight tabletop games, the Eweb has an encumbrance of 5, which basically means you need to have your strength maxed out as you could possibly have it at the beginning of the game in order to actually wield the thing, and then you wouldn't be able to even aim it, really, right? So seeing the Mandalorian pick up the Eweb and start firing, I can't tell you just how much I nutted when that happened. Like that was one of the coolest like cuz such a small little detail, and yet like it's those things that make you know that this is something that is made by an absolute Star Wars nerd. An absolute Star Wars nerd.
It's those little things where you're like, no executive would think about it on that level. They would think, all right, he commandeers the weapon that was the plot device by which they were threatened in order to stand down. And that could be all it is. Right. But the fact that he did it not by taking the mount swivel and turning it, but actually picked it up and walked with it. It's like the added thing where the executive's like, yes, that's extra cool factor points, so you can totally do that, Mr. Director Taika Waititi or whoever made the decision here. Right. And then they're like thinking, like we got someone to do it.
And also,
we got someone to do it.
Also, this is the first time we have canonically seen a thermal detonator explode in live action.
Yes.
Because it's these little things where it's answering. We had never seen an Eweb even fire before, right? Here, they're taking all those little things that like were sort of dangled in front of us Star Wars fans with like previous movies. What would happen if the snowtroopers actually managed to fire the Eweb at the Millennium Falcon, right? And then they spend a great deal of time talking about it, and then they show it. What would have happened if that thermal detonator had blown up in Jabba's palace? Would all of them have died, even though it was a big-ass room, right? Like they certainly seem to be worried that would happen.
I think what's also really like something to think about is that the thermal detonator doesn't vaporize all the metal chunks around things like the IG-11 droid, so that shrapnel would have gone, exploding out at high speeds, taking out other random people outside the initial blast radius. Jabba had plenty of reason to be like, as the largest, most flame-absorbent thing in the room at that point there, made sense why he would just be like, oh, that's actually a pretty...
You got guts.
You have balls, my friend.
Yeah. I like the way this one negotiates.
Yeah.
One of the other things that we had never really seen. So, okay, Mandalorians. That's about as fan-fiction-y, like, awesomeness as you can get.
Absolutely.
What would be better? A Mandalorian with melee weapons. A Mandalorian with melee weapons.
I literally was joking about the Achani swords.
Yeah.
But I was right in some ways in that it was going to be a melee weapon.
Nah. Hammer and tongs, forging tools. Yeah, that's right. You throw that stormtrooper onto the forge and have him just
dissolve into it. This was probably one of the most appreciated fan servicey episodes in the whole show for me, because I think the fan service stuff were things that everyone who maybe doesn't initially see it as fan service just thinks, oh, that was so badass.
Right, exactly.
That was so cool.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of stuff is great because it turns a lot of people that weren't into it as fan service into it like, as like, oh, that's some fan service.
And
because now they're like, talk dirty to me, Mandalorian.
And that's one of the things that, okay, so, I'm sorry to bring it up in the same conversation, but in the later seasons of Game of Thrones, I felt like they went a lot into fan service, specifically with banter between the characters. We always wanted to see these characters interact, so they'll give them a point where they talk. But the problem was, the problem with doing fan servicey things is that when it's fan service, you're banking on there being extra appreciation, extra payoff that other than what's present within what you present to the audience.
Yeah.
Which means that if for some reason that is not actually fan service, you need it to nothing to be depending on that.
Right.
Because otherwise, people won't people won't be enjoying it, right?
That's just simple math right there.
Right, exactly. But here, not only do they have there be the fan service, they have it be in a way where it's the little details that can be missed by the audience if it's not fan servicey for them, but they also present it in such a way so that it's so badass, awesome, rule of cool that if someone wasn't into the fan service side of things, they sure as hell are now.
Right.
Yeah.
Man. We have another really badass moment here that was, I would say, actually, like you said, a really clever way to work around the force healing thing, which was there's a flame trooper being sent in there. Now, it would have been a bit video gamey if he had a personal shield generator, and I think they're probably not going to bring that up as a thing in general in Star Wars for a long time, because then it makes the fans start asking dumb questions like, why doesn't everyone have a personal shield generator?
Right.
I mean, they had him on the droid decals, but because it's an actual droid, a destroyer droid, they go, oh, well, it's built in, so only they can have it.
Oh, and by the way, they only did that for the first time they showed the droid decals, and then never, even when they had droid decals, had them use the shield generators again, because then you actually have to get into things of like, the shield can only take so much stuff, and that's not simple visual mechanics that can be used.
But in certain video games, the flame troopers almost always had some kind of shield to basically protect them against their own flames.
Right.
Because it's like, oh, I torched this area here. Now it's about 1,000 degrees all around me.
Yeah.
So in order for me to continue walking in there and torching things, I'm going to put up a little shield that kind of mitigates a little bit of the heat.
And the way I saw it from like how they did it in this is just that's why the trooper had a different kind of armor. The armor is generally flame resistant and all that stuff.
Right.
But still, when the fuel tank explodes or whatever, which granted, is a thing that is in this, but in reality, in modern days, you just have two separate things that when they're conjoined,
I don't think it exploded though.
Oh, didn't it?
I think he just got torched. Now it might have exploded or something like that, but he just died from being cooked too. He got absolutely cooked, and that's the thing. Yoda, little baby child, coming up there, just being like, "Yes, I will protect you,
baby."
Wait, there we go. And I was literally thinking in my head, oh, they're gonna have to just kind of have a moment where they keep the baby away from the Mandalorian,
so that the Mandalorian can't be healed,
so that the baby doesn't sense that it needs to heal him. I'm like, okay, that's probably gonna be a little bit janky, but okay, I'm okay with that. And then it passes out, trying to save them all from dying.
Yep. And getting its first kill.
This is some Yoda redirecting lightning, and you're just like, oh, hold on a minute. He's just redirecting it. He's not actually casting force. Wait. Then the fans go nuts. Like, wait a minute. Hold on.
Yoda looked a little angry there. Yeah.
That
was absolutely fantastic. And the whole thing of taking the helmet off, but then, I'm not a living thing. Like that was so perfect. That was almost like some Aowen, like I am no man kind of a thing.
Right.
Like and it was and from a narrative standpoint, right? Mm-hmm. From the standpoint of it's a droid, right? So it's a loophole, right? Mm-hmm. Cool. Yep. Awesome. But the fact that it's a droid,
right,
for this kid, because that's what he really was in that moment. He was a kid. Yeah. Whose parents were killed by droids. He was almost killed by droids. Yeah. And now here's this droid that is programmed, or was programmed, to kill. And he has to be vulnerable.
And let him save him.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That is a moment right there.
That is a moment. Yeah. It's a little character arc that we went on there. Mm-hmm. It's got some ways to go still for all the other stuff, but... Mm-hmm. We've established our characters, and and this is where the season ends.
And Baby Yoda's got the Mandalorian necklace thing.
He does.
He's like,
yeah. But I almost think we should do like a discussion regarding like the show as a whole. But I think we've talked this show up quite a bit. If for some reason you just like watched this one and also got this end of the discussion, there's probably none of you that did that actually. But go watch the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Go
tell your family and friends.
I know this feels weird to say, but support Disney Plus. Just
right.
And just if you want to stick it to them. If you don't. You want to let them know this is why I'm actually doing this, and you just want to get your 1 month, binge the whole thing, you're done. Quit your subscription and don't watch anything else. Make it very clear that you literally just did the subscription thing, sent it back, you're done. You just want to watch The Mandalorian, and then they'll be like, okay, we got to get the season 2 stuff. Like
right. And then
quick.
And get those Baby Yodas when they come off the production line.
I mean, yeah. So y'all,
what is there to say? This is awesome.
Yeah, it was so good. And if you're a Star Wars fan, if you're a fan of just
good time to be
good
a Star
stuff,
Wars
like
fan.
I'm happy. I'm sure you're happy too. But like, this is the way.
This is the way.
So, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. We won't having any show replace this show. This was a bonus slot specifically.
Special occasion because
it's Star Wars.
The Mandalorian.
It's the Mandalorian. But if you want to watch the full length reaction version of this episode, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. Any level support also gets you access to our private Discord where you can chat with us about Star Wars, about other types of TV shows. It's a fun community there. It's really great. And you can also talk with Jacob specifically about his sci-fi novel that he wrote.
Yep. So I wrote a sci-fi novel, and if you like space armor that is awesome and themes of family and whatnot and all that goodness, then you should check it out. It's called Battle Lines. It's awesome. It's available for purchase on Amazon. Link in the description. It's in both hardback and ebook, so whichever works best for you, go check it out.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.